Congressman Eric Swalwell wrote, "Don't even think about seeking the Democratic nomination for president unless you pledge to take a wrecking ball to the Trump Ballroom on day one." Final thoughts to you on that.
Well, I wonder if his Chinese spy girlfriend put him up to destroy something at the White House. It's ridiculous, Carly. We all know that. And everybody, again, should be happy about this. But, of course, that's Eric Swalwell, so we would think nothing different. When we're going to see another Democrat as president, if this is the way the Democrats are behaving about a beautiful renovation that everyone should be able to enjoy, that was long overdue and really necessary at the White House. You know, they're continuing to focus on the hysteria over this East Wing demolition and what will be something everyone again can enjoy for future generations, future presidents to go forward.
A lot. We've raised over $350 million. It's a beautiful room, a big room. I don't have any plan to call it after myself. That was fake news. Probably going to call it the Presidential Ballroom or something like that. We haven't really thought about a name yet.
Now, I could show you a million examples of leftist commentators melting down over this proposed idea, but for pure distilled lunacy on the subject, let's go over and see what Whoopi Goldberg and the ladies of The View think about it.
That is not your building.
Correct.
You don't own that building. That would be like me going over to Trump Tower and saying I'm going to build a disco. You know, they've wanted a disco in Trump Tower for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, come on, man. You don't own that building. That is the people's building. You don't own it.
Let's sing it.
What?
You don't own it.
You cannot take it down. You don't own it.
Oh, I'm very sorry to have subjected you to that, dear viewers, but what can we even begin to say about this? I mean, look, we know the left hates a party, hates a good time, are grumpy scolds with nothing fun in their lives, and they hate Donald Trump. So, of course, they hate the idea of Donald Trump putting up this big, beautiful ballroom, can you believe it, people, attached to the East Wing of the White House. Now, despite the fact that the White House really has no major entertaining spaces, leaving big events like state dinners to take place literally in tents like this one set up on the South lawn. I mean, we are talking about the renovations as if the demolition was taking down half the building instead of just a small annex. You can see it there on the bottom of your screen on the East Wing. Though apparently in the process we are losing such historical gems as, wait for it, Eleanor Roosevelt's reading nook in the process. Man, I tell you what, I so voted for this. But look, it's going to surprise some of you to hear me say as a conservative this, but the White House has always changed, and it always will. When Thomas Jefferson added colonnades on the East and West Wings, he was criticized for being extravagant and showy. Andrew Jackson added the famous North Portico. Could you imagine the White House without that? And he was called ostentatious for his troubles. And I tell you what, as America's first populist president, Jackson might sympathize with what Trump is going through now. FDR, he famously put in a swimming pool, which Nixon turned into the White House press briefing room, but not before JFK got to enjoy it, as Donald Trump pointed out the other day.
And we had this long wall with half windows because that used to be a swimming pool on the other side of the wall. That was the swimming pool where Jackie would say, "I hear women inside." Are women inside? Quite a famous, I'm not saying anything, this was a part of a movie. And the Secret Service said, "No, ma'am, there's no women inside, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am, you're going to have to move along. But I hear women inside." "No, ma'am, you'll have to move along, ma'am." So that was the famous swimming pool. Now it's even worse. It's for the media.
And when taxpayers, not private donors, but U.S. taxpayers, funded major works on the White House, including the construction of a basketball court when Barack Obama was president, well, everyone thought that was just great.
Sounds like you're building another wing to the White House, but we appreciate you keeping your focus.
You can't even imagine, TJ. It's going to happen for the next 2 years. All of the banging, the jackhammering, the dust, the confusion, the noise of all places to do construction is happening right here, the front lawn of the White House.
It's a 4-year renovation project. Estimated cost, $376 million.
And I don't even want to get into the way the Bidens desecrated the White House, including during this event where trans influencers went topless on the White House lawn. And well, as far as Bill Clinton is concerned, the less said about his respect for the White House, the better. But there's a greater hypocrisy here. I mean, when the hell did the left ever care about such things as historical preservation, about things like patriotism, monuments, and traditions? Aren't these the same people who have spent every waking minute of their lives since at least the 1960s screaming about the dead white men who built America, who tore down statues not just in riots but in acts of officialdom, even melted them down in some sort of weird quasi-religious orgy of frenzy? They graffitied monuments and sought to install their own new alternate revolutionary traditions in their place? Yeah, sure. Tell me again about how much they care about preserving American traditions. They're not mad, I'll tell you this right now, they are not mad about a ballroom. They are just, once again, entirely deranged by Trump and his addition of something that will actually be useful to the White House and future presidents, even Democrat ones. Something that won't even be done, most likely, while he is still president. But again, instead will be a gift to future generations of Americans. That's what they're mad about, and there's your truth bomb for you.
Now, Josh, tell me about the absolute mass meltdown we've had over Donald Trump gifting the American people a ballroom, a beautiful ballroom, we would say. This addition to the White House will have zero taxpayer dollars spent on it, with Trump and other donors paying for the enormous construction cost. You'd think this wouldn't be grounds for a massive meltdown, Josh, but it's everywhere, even on our 9 papers in Australia today. The Sydney Morning Herald and The Age are carrying pieces about this as if it's some horrible misdeed by Trump. It is one of the more bizarre controversies, I've got to say, of this second term.
You know, Rita, you and I are both in the news business, and every so often a story comes up, and I just ask myself, why is this a thing? Like literally, why are people talking about it? I mean, here in the United States, we have some pretty big issues. This is actually one of the longest government shutdowns already in United States history, thanks to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. We have Donald Trump, who's currently in Southeast Asia on a very, very important foreign policy trip when it comes to everything from peace between Thailand and Cambodia to trade with communist China. We have this whole brewing controversy when it comes to this president's admirable willingness and ability to take out drug cartel smugglers down in the Caribbean all the way down to Venezuela. There's a lot going on in our own hemisphere, but I mean, the notion that this would be a story, that Donald Trump remodeling and granting the White House a new ballroom. I mean, don't you guys have anything better to talk about? I mean, like, literally, don't you have something better to get your panties all up in a wad about? I mean, it really makes you think sometimes, Rita, that, I mean, Donald Trump could eat a piece of stale cheese and he could issue a particularly loud bit of flatulence in the wrong direction, and the people would say that it is the imminent incoming jackboots of the Third Reich. I mean, what is wrong with you at a certain level that, like, this is what you're choosing to live and die in? But, you know, facetiousness aside, just to be serious for a second here, you know, the White House is, among other things, the president's home, and presidents going back since time immemorial to George Washington. Well, he didn't actually live in the White House, but starting since the White House was actually inhabited by the presidents there, they all remodeled it to some extent to their liking because, again, it is a home. It is not a big deal at all. The left surely has better things to care about, I would like to think.